So welcome to another episode of Satisfying Static. Today we have a guest.
Hello.
Yay! Celebrity guest star.
I'm not a celebrity.
Kristine, are you gonna introduce the guest?
I was just gonna ask her if she wanted to introduce herself, so she said hello.
I guess I will introduce myself. Hello, I'm Olivia. I'm Kristine's fiance. Hey.
She's gonna participate in random word today.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're gonna find one right now.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
our favorite. Power it up.
Wisecrack.
I don't feel like this is a good discussion word, but like, take it away.
I don't love it. I have only ever heard wisecracks in a very negative connotation.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, you would.
Oh, that's interesting.
Every time I've ever had a negative interaction about a wisecrack, it's been a teacher saying it to me.
Oh, okay.
Being like, stop making all those wisecracks.
No, but that's interesting though, because I initially didn't think of it with a negative connotation. I just thought of like jokes. Like, I don't know what else to say outside of that, but you're right. Like, realistically, it's like, stop being a smart ass.
Yeah. You being a wisecrack?
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard it as a.
That's the only.
But yeah, I've never heard of it that way either.
No, thank you.
Oh, that's the only way.
Like calling a person a wisecrack.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Stop saying wisecracks or stop. Yeah, I've never heard the stop being.
And now it's turning into when you say the word so many times that it's no longer.
Yeah, it sounds so weird, totally. But no, I've never heard it said that way either. It's usually like, did you make a wisecrack or was that a wisecrack? Blah. I'm done.
Yeah. I don't like the word. Suitcase.
What was it?
Suitcase.
That just reminds me of like you packing up to leave and like us being long distance and
and that's depressing.
It reminds me of my travel trip yesterday, which was also depressing.
Oh, okay. This is starting off great. This whole episode is starting off great. Yeah, I'm gonna veto suitcase because it made me think of the same, but for not you too.
The word is cottage.
Oh my god. Okay, maybe this one might go a lot of different directions.
But not.
Yeah, I think of cottage core.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheese.
I do, yeah. Oh, wait, do you guys love or hate cottage cheese? Because I feel like
no, I'm in the strong love camp.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, me too. I feel like, but I feel like it's either or. There aren't people who are like, I can take it or leave it. People are either like, it's disgusting. Why do you eat that? Or you're like, hell yeah, bathe me in cottage cheese.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
No, I have to be careful with cottage cheese. It's a lot like yogurt for me, where I like it a lot. Start to eat it a lot, my brain will hyperfixate on it, and I'll just eat all of it often.
Oh yeah, I do that.
That way, so like I'll just eat like entire
like skim.
Yeah.
Cottage cheese.
Why do I feel like that would ruin?
Maybe it would. I don't know.
I feel like I like the fatty bits. That's what makes it good.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I did not think of cottage cheese. That was a good one. I did think of cottage core first, which then just made me think of lesbians. But also just like a cottage in the woods somewhere with like sunshine and butterflies, and like that just sounds like an amazing little peaceful scene, and I would love that so much better than this messy, dirty, noisy city. But
it's cleaner than New York.
Mm-hmm.
Debatable.
I'm thinking about the episode that I just listened to. I forget if it was the last one or like 2 ago, but you were talking about moving to LA and LA versus Chicago and New York City and all of that. And
I think that was the last one. Yeah, I feel like at some point we were gonna get. We should look. Can people comment? I don't even know. I keep telling people like, let us know, like where. You know what I mean?
Comment on the Podbean website, and if they listen on the Podbean website, they can also comment on Apple Pod. You can't comment on Spotify, so I've read comments on Apple, and there hasn't been any on Podbean, but the ones on Apple are all really, really nice. People have messaged me on TikTok about certain topics that we've had, or they've made videos. Like somebody made a video about having aphantasia.
Oh, cool.
minute. Yeah, that was cool. So I googled the difference between a cottage and a cabin because I didn't know the difference.
That's a great question. What is it?
A cabin is a small room, whereas a cottage is designed more for a family. And it says that a cottage is supposed to have like enough garden to feed a family, whereas like a cabin doesn't need to have that.
Okay, these are oddly specific requirements.
Like a cottage is normally near a body of water, but a cabin is not. A cabin is more typically in the woods, whereas a cottage is not.
What? I don't know. It's what it says. It says. What's this website?
Whose definition is this? Who are we? Who's they?
Up to a hunting cottage. It's usually a hunting cabin. However, hunting cabins are not normally found on a lakefront. So they're talking about how like maybe you would call a cabin because it's not on a lakefront. It's more so in a.
I thought you just said in a cottage is on a lakefront.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the differentiating factor here should really be the fact that one is a room and the other one's a house.
Yeah, I was like that.
Maybe, maybe we stick with that. Maybe we stick with that part, and the location can vary.
Like simple, one room.
Yeah,
basic.
Yeah.
An actual home,
right? Yeah, like you would have people living in it.
Cottage is that a cabin is a small room made from wood by a person who wants to live in it, whereas a cottage is a small house made from various things by a professional and is used for personal as well as commercial purposes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's fair. Well, we learned something new today. Yay!
Yeah.
The goal of every podcast is to Google something that we didn't know earlier.
And it wasn't about termites.
It wasn't about termites. Oh my God. Should we wait? Okay, this isn't related to the word, but should we talk about how we keep manifesting things into reality?
My God, yeah. So after our termites episode,
we had talked about how like I never see like houses tented in the city. I've only ever really seen that in the suburbs, and I haven't seen a tented house in so long. And literally like 2 days later, down my street was an entire tented house, like being whatever for bugs. And I was like, we have to be really careful what we say.
My God. Yesterday, we had talked about how there was hardly ever any tornadoes.
Right.
In Chicago. Trying to fly into Chicago and got diverted because of a possible tornado near Chicago. And my whole flight home was delayed. I didn't end up getting home till midnight, and then it took us an hour and a half to drive home because traffic.
What should have been a 20-minute drive took 90 minutes.
Oh my God!
It's bed like 1:30 in the morning.
It was rough.
It
was rough.
All because we rough day.
A tornado.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
Y'all could stop.
Yeah, so like we should really be careful what we say. Like, what could we possibly manifest out of this? Maybe we'll get a cabin.
Or can I just manifest $2 million?
Yeah, we should just start talking about money more often on these things.
I spent my entire therapy session today about financial insecurity and my need to, despite make all the more money. And now I'm just like, we talked about how if I won the lottery, it'd be like the worst thing forever to happen to me. Because then I'd be like, oh, if I won once, I could win again. And I would just like 100% develop like this huge gambling addiction to chase the dopamine of winning lots of money.
By spending all the money you just won. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No, interestingly enough, my last few sessions with my therapist have also been about financial insecurity.
Yeah. My dad and I spent a lot of time this last few days talking about the stock market and how I want to start getting into it. And it's fairly easy to get into it. But my therapist is like, you need to be really careful about day trading because that will feed a negative cycle in you. And that's not good.
Wow. Your therapist sounds like she knows you very well. They know you. I don't know.
It's a male. He follows me on TikTok, and he listens to this.
Okay, so hey, Kristine's therapist, thanks for doing a great job. Keep it up.
Yep, doing great. Makes me feel less crazy.
We love that. So spending time with your dad talking about stocks was amazing. Tell us more about that.
It was great. Yeah, I was like, so I know buy low, sell high. He's like, that's pretty much it. You want to hang on to a little longer. Some stuff pays dividends. He's like, he's very frustrated trying to explain it to his wife because his wife just really doesn't get it. And he's like, it's not, this is why people don't get into it because it's complex. He's like, but it isn't really that hard. Like, it's just gatekeeped. Like, That's why a lot of people aren't in the stock market, right? Because they feel like it's so complex, and it's that way intentionally to keep people kind of out of the market.
For sure. And there are definitely like things that are trying to change that. Like Robinhood was one of the first in the game to like try and give stocks back to the hands of like people.
Yeah, and then they got gross. We don't love Robinhood. We don't stand Robinhood.
Fair.
During the big hold all of GameStop stock and don't sell, they started like basically banning trades to buy more GameStop stock. They were trying to help the hedge funds instead of helping the little people. They weren't being very Robin Hood.
I mean, at the end of the day, like any financial institution is looking out for its own interests. So, like, I don't know that there's any like stock traders or banks that you can stand, but unfortunately, we're stuck with them.
How do we go from cottage to here, though?
Manifestation, obviously, because I was trying to manifest a cottage and you're trying to manifest $2 million. We obviously have different priorities.
Well, what if I manifested a $2 million cottage? By this definition, a house is a cottage every time. So I could manifest a $2 million house.
That's true. That's true. You could do that.
Dollar house is a cottage because cottage is small.
It didn't say small. I just said big enough for a family. It didn't say small.
That's subjective. Yeah, that is very subjective.
Built with various materials and can be used for personal or professional uses.
Interesting.
That's what it said.
Interesting.
Yeah, now I'm more confused because, like, by that definition, I mean, it could be a mansion.
Right, but, like, that's not... A mansion is not a cottage. A cottage is small.
Right.
And, like, quaint and, like...
Is it those things, or is it those things because we always assume it's those things?
I'm pretty sure that's what a cottage is.
Is a wheel objectively, or is it a wheel because we named it a wheel?
Well, I feel like collectively we all have like some idea of what a cottage would be. Like if you ask someone to like describe a cottage, we'd all probably describe something like relatively similar in woods near forest, something like a fireplace, you know, whatever.
I would draw the Kardashians' mansion.
What? You would draw the Kardashians, man? They live in a cottage. They live in several cottages. Strung.
Like, look this. Oh my God. But what if I drew a cottage in like Bora Bora, which could be a $2 million cottage?
I don't understand the question.
Like, okay, all right, so what we envision a cottage as, right? Small, quaint, all these words. That's an EV. And then we pick that up, but I put it in a location that's worth $2 million. So let's say I pick up that cottage and I put it on a private island. So it's for sale for $2 million.
Okay,
it's
but
still the traditional cottage that you think of.
Okay, but we're not talking about the price. We were talking about size. You're having a totally separate conversation with yourself in your own head that we're not a part of. Okay? Because we were talking about size. Like, yeah, obviously a mansion and a cottage will probably cost differently, but realistically, like when you ask someone to describe a cottage, they probably won't describe like Kim Kardashian's house.
I didn't think we gave a shit about size. I thought we were talking about value.
No, I think
size.
Sometimes. But
in this conversation, I
thought the discussion was about size, but we can replay the recording.
No, play the tapes. It's okay. I believe.
Play.
I changed to path though.
Path.
That one can go a lot of different directions. Let's see where we go with it.
Do you mean it can go a bunch of different paths?
Oh my God.
Hey. It was still funny the way I said it.
I mean, I'm not saying that yours is any less funny. I just thought...
You just had to make it a dad joke. That's fine.
There's a lot of funny.
All right, what are our first thoughts on Path?
I have two. I think of a Nissan Pathfinder, which is a big SUV.
Okay, interesting.
One is, I think of the path to hell is paved in good intentions.
All of yours are always so like drastically different. Like there's no like middle ground. You're just like, oh, I don't know. I thought of a fluffy bunny or hell.
Right? I thought of like a physical, literal. I like imagined a literal path. like in the woods or like in a field or something.
I feel like Kristine's going to have issues with this definition of path, but
what?
There are many different paths. They don't have to be in the woods.
Oh, right.
Well, they don't. They can be they can be theoretical. They can be spiritual. They can be
True.
in the woods. They can be
God. Into the woods. Yeah, that just got there.
We got it'll melt.
It is.
You got what?
Actually not that.
Cake. I got tiramisu and Olivia got chocolate cake.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm jealous. I do not have cake, although I did just do groceries, and my brain's working so well today that they showed up in the middle of a meeting, so I muted myself to go grab them, and then they sat on the floor behind me for like 3 hours.
Ooh. Hey, at least you haven't been to the grocery store 3 times and forgotten that you're out of ketchup all 3 times.
Because we have absolutely done that. Are you kidding? All the time. What do you mean? I regularly go to the store with only the one thing that I absolutely need and leave with all the things except that one thing.
Yeah, no, that happens all
the time. It's the worst. But yeah, that one was a first, and that one was an interesting one because they were literally just sitting behind me the whole time, and I just didn't turn around, so I forgot they were there.
Rough. That's like when I went and got groceries, put them in my trunk, then drove home and just walked in the apartment.
I remember that.
Yeah, I just left them there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I brought groceries.
Yeah, I've done that before. I think we talked about that. That's why I don't put them in the trunk because it's too hard. But yeah, and you absolutely walk into the house like, why was I outside of the house?
Yeah, why? First place.
Right. You're like, oh, groceries. Damn it. So yeah, it's fun. It's so fun.
You know what else I think of when I think of past? I think of guides, and then that reminds me of those red buses that we talked about previously.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did not think about the guides piece. But yeah, I was wondering if we were going to come back to path. I thought of more like metaphorical paths, like spiritual path or like career path or like life path, which all sound heavy and difficult. And so I was kind of like, can we skip this word?
Man, I've thought about quitting medicine in the last week than I have my entire career.
Yeah. Your job? Why?
Just not my job, but like just medicine as a whole, like just up and leave. And if I could find anything that paid me even 1/2 or 70%, preferably what I make now, I would do it in a heartbeat. But there's just nothing out there that pays that much that makes enough sense. People just don't care. People just don't care what you do for them anymore. It's never enough, and it's just really, really discouraging.
I mean, I hear you, but I feel like the field that you're in is just exhausting and wears on you and is made for burnout. So, like, it's not surprising to hear you're feeling like this, but
it used to be like this. It's like everybody just decided to be the worst in humanity, and I'm so serious. Which like really triggered a lot of that in people, and now it's just depressing. It's just like I help one person and then 4 more come in who I can't help, or the one person I thought I helped ends up dying before leaving the hospital I sent them to, and that's just like a reminder that I'm not doing anything.
Well,
I don't know. I can't help but feel like I wouldn't be more useful somewhere else. I just don't know in what other field I would be useful in.
I mean, you're not doing anything. You're doing everything you can. You just don't have the control to like decide whether people get to stay alive or not.
You are useful.
Yeah, extremely.
Yeah, but I used this metaphor the other day. It's like you're in a boat that's sinking in the ocean and you have a tablespoon to dump the water back out.
Yeah.
Would I love to upgrade to a bucket? Yes. Would I love to just not be sinking? Yes. Are either of those things going to happen in my career or lifetime? No.
Right. But like, and I understand like it feels like that and it's really hard to get out of that. But like, that's the case with a lot of things. Like, at the end of the day, like you can only do so much and you're already doing above and beyond what you can. And like every little contribution helps, right? Like I often feel this way. I mean, not to minimize what you do because this is not the same at all, but like when I do beach cleanups and we go and we pick up all of like the trash and everything, and there's all of these volunteers that come through and like we pick up like 500 pounds of trash off the beach, but Did we make a dent in it? No. Is there still trash everywhere? Could I spend all day picking up garbage? Yeah. Does it feel absolutely defeating? Yes. But what we did do was open the eyes of a few other people who realized that, like, now there's a problem. Activate some people in the community to come out and, like, participate and give a shit about their beaches, and educate whatever we can. So, like, does it suck? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. But, like, am I not making an impact at all? No. It may feel small, but, like, it still matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that was a really good example of that, Maggie. And, like, I'm thinking of my own things as a teacher. It's like, of course, there are kids that I am, like, not going to reach
Totally.
and not going to connect with, really going to have an impact on. They're not going to remember me. And that sucks. And it's, like, really hard when they are really frustrating and make me want to tear my hair out and quit the job. But there are kids that I'm connecting with, and there are students that I'm going to make an impact with. It is a very small percentage of the school, of the students who, like, do the plays and stuff, and who, like, does anyone think I'm their favorite teacher? I don't know. If that's the case, it's, like, less than 5, you know, out of 400, 500 students. But I'm still making a difference, and it's matters for those kids. And even though it might not be every single patient for you, it is some patients that you are, like, making them better or giving them hope.
It just sucks. The other day I spent like 45 minutes calling around to get this guy into a specialist much sooner than he was originally supposed to get into. I even arranged transportation for him, like a Lyft was going to get him on this day at this time, whatever. Comes in the day after his appointment was supposed to be and was like, oh yeah, and I just didn't go. I just didn't feel like going. And I was like, well, awesome. I got you in to do a thing to help make your chronic thing better, and you just declined.
But, like, again, you only have so much control. Like, you can't go to his house, drag him out of bed, put clothes on his body, and take him to the appointment, because you're not meant to. They're full-grown human beings for a reason. They're allowed to make their own decisions for whatever those reasons are. And yes, you busted your ass, but that was your decision to bust your ass to try and get him in early. Whatever reason he had for not going really doesn't have anything to do with you. And, like, I'm sorry it sucks that you tried so hard for this person and they didn't show you any appreciation for that, because that's really, really hard. But, like, you're already doing more than enough. So, like, feeling that you're not making an impact, like, that part doesn't make sense to me.
That's the part that sucks, because I'll feel like I did absolutely everything, and I'll go in and I'll tell the patient everything that I've done, and they'll look at me and say, not enough. And I'll be like, well, what else do you want me to do? And they'll be like, I don't know, figure it out. And it's like, what do you want from me? And it's not just like it's like almost all my patients all day telling me that, you know, because they had to wait 8 hours to be seen, I didn't do enough, or, you know, whatever. And it's like, you don't get it, and they don't want to get it. They don't want to hear why any way other than their way is right. And it's just mentally draining to have to constantly defend yourself. I have to constantly defend my profession. I have to constantly defend my decisions. I have to constantly defend everything.
Or you don't, and you pick your battles better. Some people will never be happy, and that's fine. But
that affects my job. If that one unhappy person calls and makes a complaint, that's my ass.
Right,
that's my job.
But you're already doing everything, right? And you're explaining everything to them. If they tell you, okay, that's not enough, and you're like, this is everything that I can do, that's it. That's the answer.
Yeah, it just
like that really is. And, like, it sucks, but unfortunately, like, you're carrying the weight of a lot of people's opinions on your back for no reason. Like, of course they don't get it. They're not medical professionals. They're not going to get it. But they're probably scared and frustrated and upset because they're in a hospital and that sucks. And they probably don't think that they will ever see you again.
That's true too.
I was gonna say, yeah, a lot of these people act this way because they don't think they're ever gonna see me again, or
totally.
Mm-hmm. It's the same with all these people without usernames,
right? Yeah, exactly. Like, I know. I
did block her, and she turned around and came back on my video on a different account to talk to me about why I blocked her and not other people that were involved in the conversation, because I blocked her, so I didn't ever see the whole thread anymore.
Oh my God.
And she claimed that I was, you know, encouraging the negative behavior that they were having by blocking her and not blocking them. And I was like, I blocked 8 people off this thread. I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Like, I started to be very judicious with like I just like go through and I'm like, and you're blocked, and you're blocked, and you're blocked.
Whatever. I mean, again, people are allowed to have their opinions, and oftentimes they're going to differ from yours. And a lot of times they're going to base opinions on an action of yours that has absolutely nothing to do with them, but they're making up a whole world of stories about it. Like, you can't control what goes on in people's heads. So what comes out of their mouths is a product of what's going on in their heads. Like, it's too hard to live every day taking that so personally, because 99.9% of the time it has literally nothing to do with you. And like, sorry to say it like that, but it really doesn't. People are too self-absorbed, too in their own heads to even like take 2 seconds to think about like how what came out of their mouth is affecting your day.
Yeah. So to circle back to paths,
career path.
Mine might be just out of medicine. Probably after I'm 35 and have paid off my student debt, I'll probably find something else to pivot to.
Do you think you'll pay it off by 35? That's wow, good job.
My goal is by 35. That's my goal. My goal is by 35. Speaking of, I ordered a couple of samples of the new.
I'm pretty excited to see. Did you order a hoodie? Because the hoodie looked sick.
Yeah, I made it available in every single item that it sells, but I got a couple of to see how the print actually prints, because if it prints too thin, I need to edit it and change it before I make it live.
That's fair. But I'm excited for that one. We can announce that one on the podcast because I think that one's funny.
Olivia.
What?
Olivia was like,
"Oh, really? Okay. I think it's hilarious. Whatever. We'll find out. We'll do a test with the TikTok audience, see how they're feeling about it."
Not the target audience here, so
a lot of people on Instagram actually really liked it. A lot of Olivia's friends really liked it.
Oh, there you go. See?
Just, my fiance didn't like it.
Okay.
How much merch does she own?
0. Baby. I love it support in other ways.
I love that your friends are supportive of your partner, though, Liv. That was really cute.
All of them are incredibly supportive.
One of her people in her dance company, Sarah, is like arguably my biggest
adorable.
fan.
I love that. Is she in the wedding? Is that one?
Not in the wedding, but we'll hopefully be there.
Yes, all of my dance company is invited to the wedding. Spoiler
alert to everyone at the dance company. Congrats.
I think they're like, this is our date, everyone. Put it in your calendars. So, not really.
Amazing.
Yeah. We can end it on that high note.
Maybe that's a good one.
That's ending it. Happy
and if anyone has encouraging words for Kristine, it sounds like she can use them right now.
Or a career path to pivot into where I make the same amount of money and maybe don't get yelled at all the time. That'd be great.
Or maybe encouraging words. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yes,
this has been a blast.
Thanks. Bye.